you've only gone and downloaded a multiplesources.net podcast. For more episodes of this show and a bunch of other content covering everything from NBA teams to professional wrestling, visit multiplesources.net. Multiplesources.net. But wait, act now and you too could join multiplesources.net. Yeah, we're looking for people to do their own podcasts about different NBA teams. We're looking for blog authors, video highlight creators, basically anything you can think of to write about sports. You can kind of write or create to your heart's content. So if you want to help us and join this up-and-coming independent blog and podcast network monster, go to multiplesources.net. I'll stick something in the sidebar that says join us or something equally unfunny. So go and click on that. Join us.
Are you ready? Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the It's Always Sunny in Phoenix podcast, a weekly podcast where we talk about our favorite team, the Phoenix Suns, and we like to throw in a little general sports talk as well. Our normal host, Mitch, is out today because he is traveling with the Gonzaga basketball team pep band, which is pretty awesome. But we did get a pre-recorded clip from Mitch about the Hornets game, so all of you diehard Mitch followers won't be disappointed today.
You'll still have a little bit of him.
A little bit of Mitch. Makes a good day. All right. So today it's just me, Charlie, and David. What's going on, David?
Oh, just got done watching the Grizz game with how our recording's set up. So I'm doing pretty good right now.
Gotta be feeling pretty good after that victory today. Or yesterday, should we say.
Whichever one.
Yeah. All right. So let's just hop right into it. And we'll go over some transactions that are happening right now. The Suns waived shooting guard Sonny Weems on Saturday, March 5th. Weems really never got a chance to break into the rotation, and it left a lot of us scratching our heads about why we signed him in the first place. And with that open roster spot that we created, it looks like the Suns will be signing former Arizona Wildcat Chase Budinger. He's been having a kind of rough season, putting up career lows in a bunch of statistics. And so far, he's averaging 4.5 points per game in about 15 minutes. But, he plays the same position as PG-13, so you can see why the Pacers didn't need him. I don't think anyone is expecting him to suit up and start killing it for us. But he's definitely another body at the small forward position, which we are in need of. David, what do you think about signing Budinger?
Yeah, with TJ out for the rest of the season, we have been missing minutes at the small forward position. PJ's been playing a lot of minutes. We kind of had Sonny Weems throw in here and there. We play a lot of Archie basically taking up that spot at the small forward. So it's not that surprising that we picked up a depth move and all that. So I think it's a good move. I think he's a solid depth guy. So we'll see a little bit more, but for the depth and for what we need him to do, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I agree. And lately, it seems like we've been running 3 guards and 2 centers with our twin tower lineup. If PJ's not on the floor, that kind of seems what it's like. So another small forward in the rotation will be very beneficial for us.
Yeah, the 3 minutes that PJ sits, actually, it's not 3 minutes. it's about 7 minutes. So I better not over exaggerate. The 7 minutes that he sits a game, we need something to sit there, and we've been running a lot of 3 guards, and being able to have an actual player that's supposed to play small forward will be kind of nice.
Right on. So hopefully and assumably we'll be getting Budinger here in the next few days to replace Weems. And let's start in on our recaps from last week's game. The first one of the week was Tuesday, the 1st of March, and it was a rough one against the Hornets. Mitch covered that game, so let's see what Mitch had to say about that one.
Hi, everyone. This is Mitch. I am not able to record with Charlie and David this week, but I'm going to give a quick recap of the Charlotte game It was on Tuesday, March 1st. It was a 126-92 loss. It was pretty bad. Kemba Walker did a lot for the Hornets. He had 26 points, along with 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and a steal. He played really well. He was hitting all kinds of shots. It was really tough to stop him. And then Al Jefferson only played 19 minutes off the bench, but he had 19 points in that time, along with 7 rebounds and a block. And when he got touches in the post, there wasn't really much we could do to stop him. So that was tough for us. I was thinking that we might be able to win that battle down low, but we didn't. We didn't really win any battles anywhere. It was a pretty pathetic game. We were down by 43 at one point. And I don't know why it is, but for whatever reason, the game that I'm looking forward to most each week is the one that has been the most lopsided. Oh well. For the Suns, we had Alex Len, who continues to play pretty well. 18 points, 12 rebounds, and assist. He had a little trouble with taking care of the ball. He had 4 turnovers, which isn't very helpful. He started to revert back to his old ways a little bit by bringing the ball down low and putting it on the floor in unnecessary instances. So that was hard, and he also went 5 for 15 from the floor, which isn't a really great percentage. But, you know, a double-double is still good, and he continues to have a lot of double-digit games, which is nice. Same with Mirza. He had 17 points, but that was on 5 for 12 shooting, 4 for 9 from 3. It isn't horrible, but we've seen him shoot better. He had a rebound and an assist as well. He had a block too, but, you know, there wasn't anything really great about this game. It was pretty tough to watch overall.
Okay, the pre-recorded Mitch has spoken, and let's go into our one-sentence recaps. David, what do you have?
Well, we knew that one game win streak wasn't going to last very long.
That sweet one-game streak.
That sweet
came and went so fast. All right, and mine is the NBA needs more Kemba Walker. And just to elaborate on that, even though this is a one-sentence recap, you just don't hear much about Walker, and he plays really great basketball. He seems like a guy that should be on that All-Star team, but with the popularity contest that is for All-Star Weekend, you can see why he doesn't always make it there.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it the last podcast. He is a great player, so it wasn't a big surprise. And every time you watch him, you kind of just want to watch a little bit more.
Totally agree. So let's move on to the trivia for the Hornets game. Our first question was, and always is, which Sun will score the most points for 2 points? And Mitch answered Devin Booker. I said Devin Booker. David said Mirza. And the answer was Len. We were all wrong, so 0 points. Second... Womp womp. All right, second trivia. How many minutes will new Sun John Jenkins play? Mitch said 6, David said 5, I said 10, and I got the victory. I think he played 13 minutes, so that's the most minutes he's received as a Sun. So there's a point for me.
Go
then
you.
We'll move on. Yeah, that feels good. Especially when you hear the final standings. I need all these points. All right, let's go. The third one. Who will have more rebounds, Ronnie Price or Jeremy Lin? Me and David said Lin. Mitch said Ronnie Price, and Mitch was correct for the point. And Ronnie Price has just been doing it all for us lately. He's been very helpful for us in every aspect of the game.
He's been stepping up big. I mean, foreshadowing some of the other games that we went through, the other 2 games, or 3 games, whatever one of those. He's been playing a lot and playing really strong.
I agree. So the fourth one was, what will the Hornets shoot from the free throw line? Mitch said 70. David said 77. I said 76. And David was correct. They shot a solid 85% from the line. 1 point for David.
Yeah, I got a point.
There you go. The final after this game. Me and Mitch have 15. David in the lead with 19.
I'll take it for now.
All right. Moving on to Suns at Heat. I covered this one, so I'll go a little in depth. This was a pretty solid game for the Suns, despite losing by 16 points. And Devin Booker was undoubtedly the star of the night for the Suns. He went for 34 points, a career best. He just was doing it all. And in the last episode, I mentioned I was looking forward to watching the D-Wade on Booker matchup. And it was a lot of fun to watch. And they actually had a pretty cool moment after the game, and they chatted for a bit. And then Wade got interviewed, and he said some really nice things about Booker, which surprised me a little bit after Booker just dropped 34 on his head. But he said that Devin Booker is going to be one of the best two guards in the league someday. And hearing that from D-Wade, that's a high praise. And then moving on, the big A, Alex Len had a pretty solid game, going for 12 points and 13 rebounds. He wasn't very efficient from the floor, but whenever he picks up a double-double, you gotta be happy about that. And the play of the game also came from Len when he flushed one right over Hassan Whiteside. And if you remember last season, those two got in a bit of a tussle. And so I really enjoyed watching Len dunk one right on his head. Oh, loved it. And for the Heat, Wade and Dragic had big games. Wade had 27 and 7 assists, and Dragic had 25 points and 7 rebounds. And I'm going to say that I miss Dragic a little bit. I got a thought passing through my brain when I watched that game, and it was Goran Dragic spinning and penetrating into the paint and then hitting a wide open Devin Booker. So I just had to put that out of my brain right away and just get over it. So, one sentence recap. What you got, David?
My one sentence recap is Dwayne Wade, pretty likable guy off the court.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, and I said I just got a little more respect for D-Wade after that. I've never disliked the guy, but hearing him say that about Booker, that put a smile on my face.
Just notch that up a little bit more. My recap was going to be either that or watching Len dunk on other centers is kind of fun.
Yeah, Len is aggressive and confident lately, and no matter who's on him, he's going to take it to him.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, having a guy he's coming into his own and starting to feel a lot more comfortable, and you could see it this last 2 weeks, really.
Absolutely. Been playing great. So we'll move on to the trivia for the Heat game. The first question, which Sun will have the most points? Mitch obviously said Devin Booker. Me and David said Mirza. And Mitch finally gets the 2-pointer right with Devin Booker. He put up that 34 points. And Mitch is now released from choosing Devin Booker every episode. All right, so 2 for Mitch there. And then the second one was, how many 3-pointers will Dwayne Wade hit? Mitch said 3, David said 1, I said 2, and he made 0, so that's 1 for David.
Woo!
You're just on fire, man.
I'm on fire.
En fuego. All right. Team with the most free throws. We all said the Heat, and we were all wrong, which is great. We got to the line, and we were taking it strong to them, and that's why we kind of kept the game so close.
We've been getting to the line a lot, so that's a nice turn. It's something that we're getting a lot better at getting to the line and taking that contact.
Definitely playing more aggressive as of late. I think we can thank Coach Watson for that too.
Think so.
Then the final question, who will call the first time out? We all said the Suns. I even said the Suns always call the first time out. And we were all wrong once again, and the Heat called the first one, so 0 points there for all of us. And the final, after the Heat game, Mitch with 17, me with 15, David with the big 20.
Doesn't make me feel good.
I'm glad it makes you feel good, man.
No, it doesn't make me feel good.
Oh, it doesn't make you feel good.
No.
Okay. All right. We'll just move on then. Suns at Magic. It was the day after the Heat game. We just headed up north to Orlando. And this was our first double-digit victory of the season. That feels good. David, let's hear what...
Now that feels good.
Yeah. Let's hear what you have to say about this one.
So, from the start, you could tell that this is going to be a fun game. Len was really going at Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic? I always say Vucevic, but I think I'm wrong with that. So, he was really going at him early. He had
I call him the Big Vooch.
I mean, that works.
Big Vooch.
The Big Vooch. He was going at him. Len had 14 points in the first quarter, and he was really going at it. Elfrid Payton on the other side for Orlando had 13 points and hit a three, which he's not known for at all. And the Suns really were stepping up to the plate. They were playing really strong. This was the big A. This was the big game for the big A. He was powering through. He was doing really well. He scored a career high 31 points and shot 11 of 14 from the free throw line. Had 15 rebounds, had a steal and 2 blocks. Which it's almost starting to... The last couple of stat lines I've seen, or the last 2 games, not the last couple I've seen, so yeah, whatever. The last 2 games he's had a steal and a block, so that's kind of nice. I mean, a steal and 2 blocks, whatever. Anyways, he shot 10 of 22 from the field, not as high up, but he takes jump shots that at times you wonder why, but he's using those to get into the flow of the game, and you're starting to see it. He'll take a couple early jump shots, get into the flow of the game, and then start banging down low. And he just had a solid and helped propel us to that big victory over Orlando. We were on a 17-game losing streak on the road, is what I think. Yeah, 17 game. 18 would have been a record for the Suns. So it was another one of those, stop that from continuing on. Ronnie Price really, really continued stepping up. He had 14 points and 5 steals, as well as a block and 4 assists and 5 rebounds. He was everywhere in the third quarter, especially. He got a block, turned around, ran, grabbed the steal, and then got the fast break points. He was all over the place, especially in the third quarter. He played, I think I'm going to get this wrong, but I saw after the fact, he had like 45 minutes of time. He just didn't want to get out of the game, and his play didn't really slow down. So it was just all around good game from Ronnie Price as well as Len in the 102-84 victory. Almost 20 points. That felt really good.
Absolutely. And you could tell the Suns were determined when they started that game. You knew they were very aware of that losing streak that we were on. And you could just tell from the start we were going to play hard and we weren't going to lose that game.
Absolutely.
And I think Ronnie Price might be the main man to thank for that game. I just wish he was our third point guard off the bench. Could you imagine having, like, sometimes you're a little worried when you have to bring in that third point guard, say someone gets in foul trouble. They might not handle the ball the best, but we have him stashed there for that reason, which is reassuring, but he's really been starting to shine a little bit lately.
Yeah, I really enjoyed earlier in the season when we had him coming off as the third guard off the bench when Bledsoe and Knight were starting. I really enjoyed having him out there. He didn't really score a bunch, but he always just played good defense. And even in the starting lineup, when he's kind of been thrown in there, he has to play. We don't have much of anything else behind him besides Archie, basically, as that third guard. It's nice to have him.
Absolutely. And then for my one sentence recap for the Magic game, I said, so this is what it feels like to be on the right side of a blowout. It had really been a while.
It had been a while, and it still feels good, turns out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, trivia time. Which Sun will have the most points? Mitch said Booker. David said Len. I said Archie. And David with the 2 points. Len had the big game tonight.
Had that 31 points. As he was going off in the first quarter, had 14. As I was watching, I was thinking, I'm happy I picked him. I was very happy that I went out on a limb and picked him for the high.
Did you just say out on a limb?
Out on a len. I didn't say that, but
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend like I did.
It's a good pun. We'll keep that one saved. We'll put that in the database. All right, so second bonus here. Who will shoot better from the floor, Alfred Payton or Devin Booker? Me and Mitch said Booker. David said Payton for some reason, and David got the point for some reason.
For some reason.
He's not known as a great shooter, but he was hitting jumpers to start that game. He was hot from the start.
Yeah, the jumpers had me a little worried with that pick, but he's one of those guys like a Rondo, like a D Wade kind of, where he doesn't get a lot of his points. Wow, I'm chopping up a bunch. He doesn't get a lot of his points from jumpers. He gets a lot from layups and drive into the rim, but he hit some good jumpers, so I can't complain too much with picking that one right, I guess.
Yeah, and I can't be mad for getting that wrong. Who would pick Peyton other than
me?
All right, so the third one. How many second quarter points will the Suns score? Mitch went with 29. David went with 24. I went with 26. Mitch hit it on the nose with 29. 1 point for him. And we'll take that. 29 points in a quarter. After how many quarters have we seen where we didn't hit 20 this season?
Too many.
So love that then. All right, and then how many turnovers will John Lure have? Excuse me. And we all said 2, but he had 0. He only played 9 minutes, and that's not quite enough time for Lure to get turnovers like that.
Yeah, I'll take that one too. I'll take that.
Sure.
That no point.
You bet. All right, I actually didn't tally up the scores after this one, but we'll hit it after the Grizzlies one. I have that ready. So let's move on to the Grizzlies game that we just finished watching. David, you covered this one too, so what do you got to say?
Yes, I did. This one was a game that I was a little worried about. We had just finished playing them. We came out with that win, and before the game, Zach Randolph came out and said that this was a revenge game for them. Grizzlies in the grindhouse, trademark pending for them. Actually, it's probably already trademarked, but he was talking about it being a revenge game. This was a very chippy game, especially in the second half. It was very chippy up until the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, where Mario Chalmers started flopping a ton and they were calling it in his favor, and Matt Barnes threw a little bit of an elbow at Devin Booker, and Devin Booker got the technical on that. Whatever. But besides those couple of calls, it was a very chippy game. Devin Booker had scratch marks on his arm. Alex Len got a huge deep cut, or not deep, but a huge cut on his forearm towards the end of the game. It was really chippy, and it was chippy in our favor. We were down at halftime by 6 points, 59-53, I believe is what it was. Yes, 59-53. And in the third quarter, we went, at one point we were on a 13-0 run. We were on a something in 20-4, I think, to start out the third quarter. We outscored them.
That sounds right.
We outscored them 32-15 overall. It was really powerful. All the guys were playing really well. And the stick out from that third quarter, just to show how well the guys were playing, is the Memphis got a steal and was running down for the fast break. Matt Barnes looked like he had a good look to get a layup, but Devin Booker blocked it. Ronnie Price got, or no, not Ronnie Price. Sorry. Alex Len got the rebound, threw it to PJ, who threw it up for an alley-oop to Chandler. It was just a good overall play. It makes me kind of sad that we weren't in Phoenix for that play, but, you know, doing it in Memphis at their home isn't bad either. And the fourth quarter got a little close, as I said. Grizzlies were within 6 points at one point, but Suns were able to hold it out, and we were able to win 109-100. Of course, Devin Booker had another great game. He was really not shying away from the physicality, and it definitely got under a couple of guys' skins. He got under, I think it was Lance Stevenson's at one point, and
pretty early.
Yeah, it was a hard foul against Stevenson, and Stevenson was a little upset and kind of like chest bumped Booker, and he got a technical for that. It looked like for a second they were going to call it a double technical, but they didn't. It was he was getting under their skin, and they weren't happy about it, and so they were giving him a little bit extra, but he didn't shy away. He scored 27 points on 8 of 17 from the field, 4 of 11 from the three-point line, and 7 of 7 from the free throw line. He also had 9 assists, 1 steal, and an awesome chase down. Just all in all, he's had a good stretch of these last 4 games on the road. 13, 34, 14, and 27. Of course, the 34 and the 27 stand out, but yet the total average is about 22, so you can't be too upset with that. And then Alex Len had another great game against the Grizzlies. He had 19 points and 16 rebounds. He had a double-double in the first half. It was 10 and 11, 10 points, 11 rebounds in the first half. So he got that double-double just to continue a little bit of a streak going on. He had 6 assists, which was a career high. And he was really looking for all the other guys, trying to keep his head up and not get tunnel vision to the hoop, which was really nice. He had a steal, and he got 2 blocks, which is, I'm wondering, is that just something that we should expect from now on, or if it's just coincidence? But either way, he's really getting into that consistency. He's getting those double doubles, and he's been doing work. He had a couple of nice moves. He had a really nice spin move on Zach Randolph, as well as a highly contested bank shot in the second quarter. I want to say that was, or it might have been the third, but falling away, highly contested. Didn't look like he was going to get it, but it was a little bit of a little jump hook kind of bank shot that was really nice. And then, of course, last shout out to those referees. Gotta love them.
Oh, those guys had a rough day today. They had a lot to keep on top of with all the chippiness.
Yeah.
And then, Tyson Chandler had a real quiet double-double. He went for 16 and 10. Didn't really see much of it. I think he caught a couple alley-oops on the day and finished down low.
Yeah, he went 8 of 11 or 8 of 10 or something like that. He did good, had those 16 points. Ronnie Price did good still, getting that stat line. I don't have it up in front of me, but he did good. And then
I got Ronnie right here. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and yeah.
So he did that, and then Mirza I think scored 18. So
yep, gotta love Mirza's production off the bench.
I love it every single time. It's great.
Yeah.
So just all in all, a solid performance all around for the Suns.
Absolutely. And the first thing you mentioned about Zebo calling this a revenge game, I think he forgot to show up to the actual game. 6 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists in 31 minutes, 3 for 10 from the floor. He was unimpressive tonight. I think the length of Chandler and Len both on the floor at the same time really did a number on him. And I did notice we were doubling him pretty early at times, so he had to get
we weren't going to let him beat us. And I think having a 7-footer on him just about every time he caught it really helped with that low production.
Absolutely. So, my one sentence recap for the game. As a full-fledged Grizzly hater, this has been an awesome 2 weeks.
Darn straight.
I just love beating the Grizzlies. And especially, like, I said this, I mentioned this to you earlier. The only two guys I really like on that team are Vince Carter and Marc Gasol. And Carter didn't do too well, and Gasol's out, so I enjoyed getting the W over the Grizzlies today.
After we had gone so long without beating them, I think it was, I don't remember how many it was. I was going to throw something out, but I don't remember. I forgot to write it down. But after going so long without beating them, we were able to get 2 wins in 2 weeks against them. Feels good.
Absolutely. All right, the trivia. Most Suns points. Mitch says Booker. David said Mirza. I said Mirza. And Mitch gets it with the Booker again. 2 more points for Mitch. He's probably going to keep picking him now.
He didn't have to pick him anymore, and then after getting him twice, he decided, well, I'm just going to pick him every time now. Again.
Well, if he's going to lead the way every time,
I'll be fine with that.
Yep. All right, number 2. Will Conley score more than he did last game? And he put up 19 last time. Mitch said less, David said less, and I said more, and I got it correct. He put up 22, and I get the 1 point. Moving on, how many rebounds will Alex Len get? Mirza and David said 12. I said
Mirza
11,
and David?
And Len pulled down 16 tonight.
You just said Mirza and David. I didn't remember Mirza being on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Mirza Mitch. My bad. Mitch said 12.
That was great.
All right. Maybe we should get Mirza for a co-host when Mitch is gone.
Let's see if that would happen.
Yo, multiple sources. Get on it. All right. But he ended with 16 boards, so Mitch and David get the 1 point for that one. And then the final one. How many points will Tyson Chandler score? Mitch said 5. Me and you said 7. And he had 16 tonight. So we took the points there. 1 for me and you. And one real quick thought here. When Len had that 10 and 11 in the first half against the Grizzlies, I really wanted to see him go for 20 and 20. That'd be like a welcoming party. Like, welcome to the big leagues. I think that 20 and 20 shows a dominant big man.
I mean, 19 and 16 isn't bad either, but I remember you saying that you were hoping 20. That would have been awesome. I'm happy with him going 15 and 15, so.
Absolutely. But hopefully someday we'll see
Fingers
20
crossed.
and 20 out of big
But
game.
if he doesn't tweet out that he wants to get his 2K rating up, he won't get help on that end, so.
That's right. That's very true. All right, so final score after this week. I am bringing up the rear with 18. Mitch has 22, and David has 25. So it's getting a little tighter up top. Mitch made some ground up. Yeah, we'll see what happens next week there. All right, and that takes care of our recaps from last week. So let's move on to our previews for this week's game. And the first one we have is Wednesday night when the New York Knicks come to town. And we're going to switch up our normal method here, and we're going to jump right into the key of the game. David, what do you got for key of the game?
My key to the game is going to be post play. It has been the key to winning the last 3 games that we've won in these last 2 weeks. Has been that play in the post. If we can get Len going early and him and Tyson feed off each other a little bit and then play inside out, I think we have a good shot.
Yep, totally agree. Our big men and the Twin Tower lineup, I really enjoy watching that. And if the Knicks are bringing out Lopez and Porzingis, those are 2 big loads down low that we'll need to shut down.
Definitely.
All right, and then my player of the game, and I'm going to go with the guy with the best nickname in the league, 3-6 Latvia, Kristaps Porzingis. Right now he's listed as day-to-day with a leg injury, so if he doesn't play, the Suns will have a pretty good chance to get the W, I'd say, if we can handle Carmelo, of course. And about Porzingis, you don't see many 7'3" guys that are as athletic and as fluid with the ball as this guy. He's a blast to watch. I love his skill set. He's got that soft shooting touch. He can attack the rim. And don't forget about his rebounding and defense. We've all seen the numerous highlights of the putback dunks when he crashes the boards, and he's averaging almost 2 blocks per game this season. So he's a lot to handle, and if he's there, he'll be the guy for me to watch.
He's been playing so great, and a lot of people didn't expect him to really be this good this fast. I think that's the slogan of the entire this past draft class, the 2015 draft class. The slogan is, who knew these guys will be this good that fast? And there will be so many of them. But the crazy thing is he's not even the best 7-footer from this draft. And he's been playing very well. So
I agree. Okay, so trivia for this week, we are going to simplify, and we have Mitch's answers in. So for each game, we're going to go with which Sun will have the most points, rebounds, and assists. So let's start off here for the Knicks game. Mitch said Booker. Mitch is going with Booker right off the bat for most points. And for me, I'm going to go with Len.
I like that. I am going to go Booker, though. He's got that matchup. He'll be either against Aaron Aflalo or... Are they still starting Jose Calderon? I don't know, but I like the guard matchup either way for Booker, so I'm going to go Booker.
Right, I agree. Aflalo might give him a little more trouble than any other 2 guard on their roster. So,
that's
but
true.
I think Booker will have a good game too. And then for rebounds, Mitch is going Len. I'm going Len. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going Len.
Yeah, you got to stay with that for a little bit. He's just been tearing it up lately.
He really has been, and with the string of games that he's putting together, I feel pretty comfortable just going with him for rebounds for right now.
Absolutely. And then for assists, Mitch is going with Ronnie Price, and I'm going to go with Devin Booker. I like watching Booker come off the screen and roll. He never picks up his dribble too early. If he can't penetrate, he doesn't try to force it, and he'll wait for another guy to get open or for his big man to roll. And he's been hitting Chandler with all these oops lately. So I'm going Booker there.
Yeah, I'm going Booker as well. The last 2 games, or at least 2 games, I didn't watch too much of the Heat. I was kind of flipping in between, back and forth. But he has been taking the ball up a lot more. Him and Tucker have both been bringing the ball up a lot more, and Ronnie Price a little bit less. So he's been given the opportunity to play make a little bit more. I like him leading the Suns in assists.
Right, and let's touch on that a little bit. Do you think Coach Watson is saying? Do you think he's trying to groom Booker a little more to maybe become a 1/2, or do you think maybe this is just a way to kind of break him into the league and to get that pressure, and then maybe next year he might not bring up the ball ever with Bledsoe and Knight, but he won't be so nervous with the ball. That's what I'm kind of thinking. What do you think?
Yeah, there are a couple of things that you need to be able to do to be good in the league. You have to be able to score. You have to be able to play defense most of the time. And you have to be able to handle the ball. I really think it's just... I think it's just to get him better at playmaking, to do better at that. I don't think he's ever going to be necessarily a 1/2. I think he will always be slotted in at that 2 spot, but that doesn't mean that he can't play a little bit of point here and there, or just take up the ball and still be taken on that 2 guard. So I think that's just what it is. Just get him better at his playmaking, just to work on it. This is not necessarily a season where we're trying to make a playoff push anyways, so might as well see what we can do and see what our guys can do.
Yep, that's what I'm feeling too. I'm really glad Coach Watson's doing that. You can tell our young guys are getting tons of minutes. Like Booker played 43 against the Grizzlies, so I'm enjoying watching this, even though the season has been so rough. I like watching the young guys get groomed a little bit.
Watching those young guys go out there, and I mean, we've talked about Len and Booker, but I mean, Archie's still been playing pretty well too.
Yeah.
All those guys, it sucks that we don't have TJ. If TJ was playing, it'd be even brighter to see how all those guys work together and play together. Yep,
I'm really missing TJ right now too. He could, he might be the one scoring 30 points every game if he were healthy. He can always put up numbers there.
He really can, and maybe after this, maybe we don't need him to. Maybe we're starting to figure out that our young core, we don't necessarily need TJ. I almost said PJ. We don't necessarily need Warren to be that guy, but if he is, that's awesome. But maybe we need him to just be able to score, period, just when we can. And maybe he's second option, maybe he's third option, maybe he's first option. Who knows? But I think that if we could figure that out a little bit more, but what can you do?
Yeah, him and Mirza off the bench would be a good 1-2 punch, man. I miss those days. All right, so let's move on. The next game, we have a back-to-back and head to Denver to take on the Nuggets on the 10th. And I have the key to the game for this one. And like you said for the last one, we need to take care of the paint. We've been doing an excellent job lately. I won't go too far into it because that's all we've been talking about. But the Nuggets, they have some guys that can get to the rim, and I think our bigs will be able to deter them, and I think we'll have success against the Nuggets too. We've really been playing pretty good ball lately, so no reason why we couldn't beat the Nuggets.
Yeah, agreed. Our next 2 games really are winnable. We could easily get them both. We could lose them too, but we could pull those out. I actually have 2 players to watch for the Nuggets. I have Emmanuel Mudiay and Will Barton. I couldn't really decide to which one to pick out of those 2, so I decided to just pick them both. Yeah, we make up our own rules anyways, so.
Yeah, Mitch isn't here. We run the show now.
Yeah, we're just throwing everything out. Just look at me, Mitch. We're the captains now.
There you go. Meme it up. All right. So about Will the Thrill Barton, man. Before I ask you more about what you think about him, that dunk contest, the Thriller walkout with the zombies was totally unnecessary. Like, he had 10 of those like zombie dudes walk out behind him, and he had the red Michael Jackson jacket on, and like it took like 15 seconds. They got 15 seconds of camera time. It takes hours to put on costume makeup like that, I assume. That was ridiculous, and he did pretty poorly in the dunk contest. So now you know how I feel about Will Barton. What do you have to say?
I have to agree with you. I hate using the word cringe, but that was kind of how I felt when it came to that dunk contest intro. But anyways, he plays with a lot of steam. We watched him. We played 3 games against the Nuggets, right, this season?
Right.
Yeah. So, he's getting better and better. I know that when there was talk about that Blake Griffin trade, they talked about the Nuggets, or the Clippers had called the Nuggets supposedly, and the one player that the Nuggets weren't really looking to get rid of was Will Barton. So there's that. he can make some plays. I kind of like him as much as he had not that great of a dunk contest, that great in the dunk contest. But that's not necessarily a knock on him. That's more of he just couldn't compete with the other two guys. So
very true. And yeah, Barton, he kind of had a slow start breaking into the league, but he's really come into his own this year, and he's a dangerous guy on the court, and I assume PJ will be issued with locking him down.
Yeah, I could see Gallinari's still out, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he is out for at least a month or something like that. So PJ's definitely will probably get Barton. I don't really see who else he would get onto. So that'll be interesting to see. And also, I mean, Moutier, he's picked really high in the draft. Everyone wants to compare him and D'Angelo Russell. I personally like D'Angelo more, but that's just me. Moutier, that's not saying Moutier is bad. He just doesn't have a jump shot whatsoever.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see. He does bring a lot of electricity, I'll say. He is fun to watch. He's fun to watch, and he's going to be pretty good.
Absolutely. Great athlete, good size. That jump shot will come. I kind of think of him as a little bit like Elfrid Payton, but I'd say he has more potential.
Yeah, that Rondo role. I mean, that's the easy one to compare to. Is that not really a jump shot, but an awesome driving kick, really athletic, good vision, all of that kind of stuff.
Yep, I'm with you there. Okay, let's move on to the trivia for the Nuggets game. The two-pointer, most points. Mitch is going with Len. I am going with Booker. How about you?
Yeah, I like Booker as well. I don't think Len's going to get it. He's going to have a good matchup against that other young guy, Yusuf Nurkic, I think his name is.
Yep, that sounds about as right as I'd pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and repronounce that. So he'll have a interesting matchup there. So I'll go with Booker.
All right, some pretty solid bigs on the Nuggets. Maybe not necessarily offensively solid, but good defenders for sure.
Big, tall guys.
And then rebounds. Mitch is going with Len, and so am I.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Len. I think Chandler could easily out rebound him this game, but I'm gonna go with Len as well.
Right on. And then for assists, Mitch is going Booker. I'm going Price.
Yeah, that's tough. I think Booker.
Yep.
If he's going to keep on handling the ball a little bit more, I think I'd just feel a little safer going with him right now.
Not a bad idea at all. Okay, so that does it for the trivia for the Nuggets game. And then the final game of the week. We hit the road to take on the Golden State Warriors, which I feel a little better about now that they just lost a game to the Lakers. I didn't see that game, but I definitely need to know more. So, David, what do the Suns need to do to beat the Warriors?
They need to catch the Warriors on a game where they're playing early and they're playing hungover. That's how the Suns beat the Warriors. The Warriors need to be tired and hungover.
That's
the only.
They must have been feeling some effect of that.
That's
today.
the only thing I can think of is what they were feeling. I know this was Kobe's last game against the Warriors. I was watching here and there, in between during commercial breaks and during halftime. But I don't even. I don't know what happened, but it was kind of funny. So there's that. My key to the game, though, if we can beat them on the glass, and as easy as that is to say, we've kind of been piping on that the entire thing. If we can limit mistakes, limit turnovers, limit bad shots, take high percentage shots, rebound well, I think we have to play just about a perfect game to beat the Warriors.
I agree. And on that note, I believe that we have been taking a little better care of the ball lately. If I'm correct, yeah, right here, we've talked about this. We wanted to see the Suns with less than double-digit turnovers, and we did it against the Heat last week. So that's a promising sign, and taking care of the ball is a big part of the game. And if you want to beat the Warriors, that's really the minimum that you have to do.
Yeah, we're still turning it over, I believe, against Memphis. This most recent one, I think we had 16 turnovers, and I want to say we had something around there for the Magic game. So we're still turning it over, but we're not having. We're having some games where it's getting lower, and we're getting a little bit better at taking care of the ball.
Yeah, after that terrible stretch right after Christmas, I'm just happy with anything under 20.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. And then for my player to watch, pretty much a coin flip. I'm going with Klay Thompson, though. And here's my reasoning. Steph is going to have a good game. It's going to happen. We all know that. He's going to make a few three-pointers, undoubtedly. But when Klay gets it going, too, the Warriors are just on a different level. They're nearly unbeatable if both of those guys have a really good game. And I like watching Thompson play, and I like comparing him to Booker like a lot of people do. So, last time we played, side note, the game that Markieff pushed Archie on the bench, Thompson out-dueled Booker. He went for 24. Booker only put up 15. So I'd like to see a little flip-flop in those stats. I'd like to see Booker get the best of Thompson.
Yeah, that would be nice. I actually want to throw out another player there too, Draymond Green. I think the more and more it's showing up, I think he might be the second best player on that Warriors team. And I think that if we could disrupt him, take away some of his passing, maybe take away some of his impact, I think we could have a pretty good shot in that game as well.
How do you think we will match up on Draymond, and Draymond will match up on us if he's having to guard Len or Chandler?
So I think defensively, I think you almost have to, it's really tough. I would think, I liked what the Thunder did the last couple of times they played them, where they've played Durant on Draymond and then had Ibaka basically on Barnes. I like that. So maybe something along the lines of maybe have PJ on Draymond. I think that could be the easiest one. You're not going to be able to have PJ on everyone, but I think PJ matches up size-wise and strength-wise, I think, with Draymond pretty well. So that's what I would probably do, and have... I think you have Chandler go take on Barnes and kind of have him just roll around, and have Len be mainly on Bogut. Or you could flip those two guys around. Both those Len on Barnes and Chandler on Bogut, either one. So I think that would be the best way to go. I'm not sure if we'll do that matchup, but that's what I would do, I think.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting to see. Against the Grizzlies, I saw Chandler match up on Barnes or Green. Someone a bit smaller than him out on the perimeter. And he did a really nice job keeping him in front and kind of forcing him away from the hoop. So maybe Chandler could match up on Barnes a little bit.
Yeah, he was on... him and Len switched on to Barnes a couple of times. Chandler was on Jermichael Green, or I think that's that dude's name. J.A. Green, whatever. He matched up onto him, And most of the time, Len takes on the better post player, is what they've been doing with this Twin Tower lineup, where Len's basically the center and Chandler's the power forward, even though they're listed opposite. And
Right.
I think that's what they're doing, and that's shown to work out pretty well.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think we need to talk a ton more about the Warriors game because we might know how it's going to go a little bit. So let's move on to the trivia.
We have an idea.
Most points. Yeah, we have a pretty good idea. All right. Most points. Mitch says Mirza. I'm going Booker.
I think I'm going to go Archie off the bench.
Nice. I like that.
I mean, Clay might not have the best offensive game, but he still plays all NBA defense. I don't feel comfortable necessarily picking Len. The Warriors have some good matchups down low there. And, Mirza could easily be it, but I'm going to try and take the wild card, and I think that Archie against the Warriors' backup point guards, or backup guards in general, I think that's a good matchup.
Yep, I agree with you there. So, rebounds. Mitch is going Len. I'm going to switch it up and go Chandler. How about you?
I'm going Chandler as well. I think that if Len is going to be mainly on Bogut, if those guys are going to be on each other, I could see Bogut eating into that a little bit. So I'm going to go Chandler. I know that the easy one would be to say Len, but I think that he's going to have a little bit of a tougher time.
Yep, absolutely. And then for assists, Mitch is going Archie. I'm going to go Booker this time. How about you?
I think... actually, no, I'm not going to. I kind of half thought of going with PJ, but I think I'm going to go with Ronnie Price. I think that he could be forced here and there. Him or PJ could be forced to carry the ball a little bit more if with Clay on Booker the entire time and with that defense. So I think either of those guys could, but I think I'm going to go with Price.
All right. So that is all the trivia for this week. And let's move on to our next segment, which is normally Player of the Week. But we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to freelance it a little bit. We're going to talk about how well our young Suns have been playing and just kind of a general status of the team. And then maybe touch on some draft buzz, see if we think anyone's moving up or someone that the Suns might be interested in. So, let's talk about Alex Len first of all. He has been really working. A beast. He's been working. The last 10 games, he has went for 17 points and 11 rebounds on average. And then I think you mentioned the last 4 or 5 earlier. Those even look better. So he has been great as of late. And then he's also going off 5 consecutive double-doubles right now. Yeah,
those 5 consecutive double-doubles, the rebounds on those, he had... Hold on 1 second. He had 16, he had 12, he had 13, he had 15, and he had 16. So... when he's been getting those double-digit rebounds, he's been getting a lot of rebounds, which duh to say, but he's not just stopping at 10. He's going over, and his point totals with those double-digit rebounds, not too bad either. He had 22 with the 16 rebounds, 18 with the 12 rebounds. He had 12 with the 13 rebounds, 31 with the 15, which was against Orlando, and then he had 19 and 16 against the Grizz. He's not just getting those rebounds and then not doing a whole lot of anything else. He's scoring pretty high too, and being the second top scorer on the team, which is something that I wasn't expecting out of him this season.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's our number one option right now. We're really feeding him in the post, and it seems like he's not going to settle for taking a couple dribbles and passing it out. He wants to get into that lane, and even though some of the shots might look a little shaky that he's putting up still, he's still kind of getting a feel for it. But, man, he'll bank one of those in once in a while, and 2 points is 2 points.
Yeah,
right?
I really like that jumper that he has from the top of the key. Anywhere else, when he's taking a jumper, I'm a little nervous, but I think that top of the key one, he's got about just locked down. And you could see that in the last 2 games where he's taken a couple from there and then eased his way into the post. I think that's really good. I was going to say something else, and I blanked. I mean, the jumper is something that I wasn't as much expecting, that top of the key jumper. I was nervous during the early season when I was watching it, but as the season's gone on, I feel very comfortable with him just catching and shooting from that top of the key. And that helps with playing with Tyson, who doesn't really have that much of the offensive game, but it still spreads out. It's going to force defenses to honor that jump shot if he keeps on making it like he is, and lets Tyson have a little bit more range and spreads out the floor a little bit better, even though he's not shooting threes.
Yeah, and let me touch on the high post, low post thing we have going on with Len and Chandler. We run this play to start games, to start quarters. It seems like if we're going to run a play, it's been this lately. We get it to either, it's normally Len at the top, like the elbow free throw line area. Excuse me. And then Tyson seals off his man. They must screen before. I haven't watched it too closely. But he hits him with a screen, seals his man above him, and then we lob it over the top. And that play has been working spectacularly. Chandler's had quite a few easy dunks off that. So I love watching
they're starting to get a little bit of a game going, and that just goes with Len's passing that's getting better. That's the other thing that I was going to say, was that something that he hasn't been as good on, where he's kind of gotten a little bit of that tunnel vision with the passing. He's starting to really get a feel for it. And that little high screen and roll where Chandler's pulling off the guy. He had that mismatch on Matt Barnes against the Grizzlies, and Len was able to get that pass just over Barnes' hand, and Chandler was able to get the easy dunk off of that. They're getting it together, and Len and Booker are starting to get it together. Those guys are starting to play off each other. It's nice.
Absolutely. And I think I'm starting to think this. I want to know what your opinion is. Are we starting to turn a corner? A very late, wide corner? Do you think we're turning? I think
we're starting to figure some things out. I know that the Suns have always been a pace and space team for like ever. They've always been that.
Yeah.
I think that when we've had success, the 3 games that we won, but the last couple of games that we've played, when we've had success, is been really kind of grinding it out, which is not very Suns-like. 7 seconds or less, all that.
Yeah.
Barkley running and gunning. We're being a little bit more grindy, and it's working. We're throwing it in. We're using a lot of the shot clock, and we're not just trying to throw up a shot early in that shot clock. We're getting it down. We're running some plays here and there. We're getting the bigs involved. And then if the jump shot's there, they take it. If not, and I think that you can really see that. And I think that, as I said, Booker and Len, I think those guys are starting to feel off of each other. There were a couple of times in the Memphis game where Len was looking a little bit too much on trying to get the ball right back into Booker's hands, and caused a turnover here or there. It was just kind of bad. And Booker was really looking for Len, and that caused a turnover. But it was something, those guys are starting to look for each other. And I think that success is that's starting to show. Because then you were having two threats right now. We're not just having, we had where people were just throwing two guys at Booker, and that was all it did to really stop our offense. Now they're throwing two guys at Booker, and we're giving it to Len, and Len's starting to do stuff with it. Or, when Len's out, we're giving the keys a little bit more to let John Lure try and create a shot. We did it I think we did it 2 or 3 times against Memphis, where we're starting to, instead of just trying to, okay, we're just going to let Booker make a play, we're starting to say, okay, well, if we pass it off to a big guy, let him try and make a play. Maybe he doesn't put the ball on the ground and dribble it, but maybe he starts to back up and then passes it back out because gets a mismatch there. We're doubling Booker, I think, and he got it into Len, and then Len got that pass in the corner 3 to Ronnie Price against Memphis, where Ronnie was open.
Right.
So, I think we're starting to figure it out. We're not trying to just run it down people's throats all the time. We're going a little slower, and I think that's working wonders. And obviously it is.
I agree. Yeah, and it's so much different than usual. And then if you look back to last season, we have 5'0" Isaiah Thomas, 6'0" Eric Bledsoe, and then 6'3" Dragic, and those guys shared the floor a lot last year. So personally, I'd rather watch Chandler, Len, and PJ just be beasts all game. I like watching that. Some old school hard-nosed basketball.
Yeah, and we tried to go a little bit even taller last season when we ended up trading for Knight and then he went out. We started lineups where it was Bledsoe, PJ Tucker at the 2, the Morai, and Len.
Oh, yeah.
And it was terrible spacing. And we were still trying to do like a kind of run and gun game, and it just didn't work. So I think that we're starting to figure it out that, okay, we can go tall, and we don't have to still try and shoot teams out of the building.
Right. There was a point in time where basketball was a tall man's game.
How about that?
And I like that. All right, we're going pretty over time here, so let's quickly. Do you have any draft buzz? Any cool stuff about the draft, or anyone you think we're targeting?
I think the easy one is a power forward. I think that either of those top 2 guys, we would be okay with. I know that a lot of fans are talking about Dragon Bender. I think the problem with Dragon Bender is he might not even come out of Europe until 2019. I think that's a problem with him, but I know that he's getting a lot of buzz. What is it? Was it that point guard from Providence? Or
it's Dunn? Chris Dunn? Is
Chris
that
Dunn.
Right?
Yeah, I know some of our fans are starting to he's getting a lot of buzz, and some of our fans are wondering if we should take him if he's in that range. I'm not sure what range that is, but people are talking about that, or maybe another point guard. I'm not sure. I think we need that 4, but that could just be me. So I'm looking at 4s personally, which has led me to look a lot at Dragon Bender. But I haven't heard much else. We're normally pretty quiet.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been hearing too. Bender, if we draft him and we don't make any other moves draft day, like, we're pretty much already not worrying about the next season and looking forward to 2 seasons from now. That's kind of how I look at it. So
yeah, that's how I look at it too.
I wouldn't be mad if we took a small forward, though. It seems like there's a few of those in the mid-lottery range that could be good players. PJ by now, I'd say he's movable. And keep TJ on there and throw in another small forward. But we do have Budinger now, so that might really change things up, huh?
Yeah, I'm done with that. But I could see us picking up a small forward to groom as just a bench guy. I think that could be easily so.
Right on. All right, let's move on, though. We always say what game we are looking forward to most the next week. Which one do you have?
I'm going to look forward to the Knicks game. I think we've got a really good shot at winning that one, and I missed the first Knicks game, so watching us play them, not too bad. Old man Carmelo, all those guys. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm tired of what I feel like we've played Denver and Golden State a million times this season. So,
yep, I agree. But I am actually looking forward to the Nuggets game because, like I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to Will the Thrill Barton.
The Thrill,
but really, a warning about this Nuggets game. If you are a Suns fan and for some reason you have to watch the Nuggets broadcast, just put that stuff on mute right away. You'll thank me. Those guys are the biggest homers in the league. Yeah, I'm calling them out. Biggest homers in the league.
I would normally agree with you, but Clyde Drexler, he's pretty bad too.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard Clyde this year, so
I've not heard him this year on purpose. Because he's really bad. Actually, no. I did. I watched the Pelicans and Rockets game. It was every single thing that was like kind of could have possibly been contact against the Rockets. He was really upset that it wasn't called. And when Rockets players were pushing Pelicans players over, he was wondering why those were fouls. It was it's bad.
It really makes you appreciate our guys, Steve and Eddie. You gotta love them.
I was so sad when Eddie was out for that little bit of extended period of time. I missed him a lot.
Yeah. Can't bash Ann Myers Drysdale, but Eddie Johnson, he might be one of the best ex-player color commentator guys in the league, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm not going to bash her, but she ain't no Eddie.
Ain't no Eddie. All right, that will do it. We are on social media. Find us on Facebook under the name Phoenix Suns, multiple sources. Follow us on Twitter under the name @SunnyInPHXPod. Email us with questions, thoughts, or suggestions at sunnyinphxpod@gmail.com. And be sure to check out our website, multiplesources.net/Phoenix Suns, and the entire Multiple Sources blog and podcast network. We thank you for listening. We're looking forward to watching the next games before we record again. Feel free to talk with us over email, Twitter, or Facebook about the games. We'll be back next Monday. Go Suns!